Tottenham beaten 2-1 at home by Newcastle United. A terrible week for Antonio Conte and his men. Back-to-back defeats, poor performances, outplayed, outclassed, outmaneuvered, outthought in every single game as well. They had the chance to close the gap on Arsenal after they dropped points, but somehow Arsenal pulled further clear of their North London rivals. Antonio Conte is not happy. The fans are booing. The fans are booing already. This is the fan highlights and match reaction show. Smash the like button. Let's go!
Absolutely magnificent.
Hey! 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 You man that wanted my channel cancelled because I said Spurs were not as good. Because I said Spurs were not as good as Arsenal. Come outside and chat to me now. Not the proper Spurs fans, the weirdos out there. I'm telling you this now. Spurs are a good team. They are still one of the favourites to make it into the top four. There's no doubt about it. But this last week has been a wake-up call. Easy to play against. Easy to play against. And I'm going to call this out from the bat. The opening 20 minutes or so, and I want to get my timings right on this and look back. Opening 20 minutes, they were the dominant side. Maybe a bit more. Maybe even 30 minutes. 11 shots they had in that time. Tottenham. I thought Newcastle were a little bit too passive. And then Newcastle around 29, 30, 31 minutes, they switched into gear. They started to press. They started to push. And they really made it difficult for Newcastle. From that point onwards, the game was Newcastle's. And from that point onwards, it was 10 shots to 7 from Newcastle, the away team, who don't have a squad as good or a manager as experienced as Tottenham Hotspur. And they overtook the game. And yes, there was some controversy. There was some controversy with Tottenham's first goal they conceded, Newcastle's first. This clash between Callum Wilson and Hugo Lloris. And we will talk about this. Some will say a foul. Some will say not. I want to gauge your opinions on it. But as soon as Newcastle started to press, they separated the forwards from the midfield. And that gap was huge. That isolated the forwards. And it took away the threat. Spurs were no real threat. And even after their consolation goal in the second half, good finish by Harry Kane at the far post from a corner, they offered very little. Newcastle, it took them maybe a bit longer than they wanted, 20, 25 minutes to really work out how to stop Tottenham. But as soon as they followed the blueprint that Chelsea used at the beginning of the season, that Manchester United used in the middle of the week, it became a relatively easy task. Yes, they had to work hard within their approach, but the longer the game went on, the less likely Tottenham looked at scoring and at coming back into this game. And listen, this is one of the reasons why I turned around and said that Tottenham Hotspur were never going to win the league. I don't even think they're title contenders. Still think they're top four. Still think they're a very good team. But they need to have a different approach when it isn't working. If you press their front line hard and remain compact at the back yourself, it's very easy to stop them. When you're not pressing and you allow those long balls over the top, that's how Son and Harry Kane get put through. You nullify that attack, and there's very little else on this Tottenham team at this moment in time. And listen, Spurs fans might want to say other things. You know, are they suffering from fatigue? Are they exhausted? Are they tired? You know, a lot of Arsenal fans have kind of used that excuse over the past couple of games. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not too sure. Personally, I'm not too sure if it is that. I want your take and I want your views. Arteta's duty-free taxi, it says Newcastle top four talk about it. Spurs are frauds. Newcastle, I don't think will make the top four this year, but the blueprint is being laid by Eddie Howe. And more importantly, the foundation has been laid by their owners. Their players know they're being run right. They are setting the standards behind the scenes. No more ice baths in paddling pools. They're improving the infrastructure. They're showing the players, listen, yes, we're going to pay your salary, your 20, 30, 50, 70, 90, 100 grand a weeks. But we mean business now. And Newcastle, listen, I want to take nothing away from them. They were sensational today. They were sensational and they deserved it. They were the better team. They had the better chances and opportunities. They may not have dominated the possession. They may not have had the most shots in the entirety of the game, but they had the better opportunities. They were the most dangerous. They played the more attractive football, and they got the 3 points. And in a cold, hard light of day, that is all that matters. That is all that matters. Now, I want to get your thoughts and your feelings as well. Was this a foul? Should this goal have stood? And I've seen a lot of debate about this online. And my take is very, very simple on this. No foul. It's not a foul. And I'll tell you as to why. If you go and watch it back, if you go and watch it back again, what you will see when it happens is there is a clash. There is a coming together of the two individuals. Callum Wilson tries to stop. It's difficult for him to do that. He tries to stop, but he can't quite get out of the way. But then what happens is a big delay. And that in itself doesn't make it a contact, doesn't make it a foul. You know, we saw we've seen this happen many, many times in football before. But what you see happen after this moment in time is very interesting. The player comes together with the goal with Llrios, Wilson and Llrios. Then they both fall apart from each other, as you see. And then what Hugo Llrios does, he realizes, shit, I've made a mistake. And then he falls to the floor. And as soon as Hugo Llrios falls to the floor, a delayed fall, I will add, you can see instantly that this is not a foul. It's a coming together. It's not a late tackle. There's no malicious contact. He falls down. Hugo Llrios says, oh, it was a foul. The referee doesn't give it. The referee's looking straight at it and says, absolutely not on your Nelly. And I'm actually glad. Great decision from VAR to not overrule this. I was worried that VAR was going to come in and re-referee the game when they didn't need to. It was a coming together. Callum Wilson slowed himself down. He didn't make any attempt to stop the goalkeeper. He also ensured that there was no, there was no elbow in the face or knees clashing into him. He could hurt Hugo Llrios here if he wanted to. He didn't. Hugo Llrios just made a mistake. And if Hugo Llrios didn't deliberately fall over, maybe he can get back. Maybe him running back towards goal and a defender pressing Callum Wilson puts pressure on the striker and he misses his opportunity. 110% a goal, in my opinion, and it should never have been disallowed. And it wasn't disallowed, and that was the right thing to happen. But I do want to get your views. RJ here says United 6 now. Yeah, we're 6, but listen, I'm relaxed about it in the sense of we've got a game in hand over Newcastle, and we played Spurs and Chelsea back-to-back this week, and we're there or thereabouts. You know, we win our game in hand, we go above Newcastle, we're closing in on Tottenham. I'm relaxed. You know, we had the hardest game of the weekend away at Chelsea. Could argue actually away at Tottenham for Newcastle was very hard as well. So to walk away with a point, yeah, I'll take that. I'm really not too worried. Gareth here says not a foul. A lot of people agreeing no foul, not a foul. They are hugging, is what Daniel T says. Tottenham fans cry, is what's been said here. Obstruction. Yeah, that is obstruction when you deliberately move it. So if you read the rules of obstruction, you have to step in the way. So say Hugo Lloris is running towards the ball and Callum Wilson steps in front of him, 100% obstruction. But they were both going towards the ball. The goalie gets there first. Callum Wilson stops, dead. There's no rule that says he has to get out the way. Not a foul. By the letter of the law, it's not a foul in any way or any shape or any form. You may disagree. I want to hear your take as to why. Don't just say foul. Tell me why you think it's a foul. I want to get your opinions on that. And these arrogant Spurs fans says Llrios was better than Ramsdale, is what Ashraf has got to say here. Spacebar, what a win. Of course, I'm a Flossie Newcastle fan who watches the Terrace, member of our channel as well. Brilliant result for Newcastle. And as I've said, I think they're building a brilliant blueprint. I think Newcastle are creating something that, you know, I think over the next 3 to 4 to 5 years is going to develop into something special. Brilliant infrastructure, great culture, money being invested, clear philosophy, clear style of play, an identity around the individuals and profiles of player that you want. Newcastle are growing, and they're growing quickly. They most seriously are. And there is a comment here that says Alvaron over Grealish. I will say this now, 110%. I'm so happy for Almiron because I think what Jack Grealish did to him, I said it at the time, was so disrespectful. You're talking about, if he made that joke and said, was he talking about Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, whoever? Mahrez, you played like chunks from Soccer Aid. That's kind of funny because he ain't a professional footballer. I don't think you call out professional footballers in that way. And the fact that Almiron is showing Jack Grealish what a good season looks like. It's embarrassing for Jack Grealish, and I'm really happy for Almiron that he's, come out and done this. I really am. Jerome here says, coming together, definitely not a foul. I'm furious. Rinse and repeat. Team, nothing will ever change. And you know what, Jerome? You heard that from the Spurs fans booing their team at halftime. I'm not sure if they did it full time because I turned the sound off because I was getting ready to do my show. But Spurs fans are right to boo this team. They're right to boo the team. They're right to boo the manager's tactics. They have got world-class players in this squad. They had a very good, according to Spurs fans, a very good summer in the transfer window to lose back-to-back games in the Premier League and be outclassed. You didn't just lose. You didn't just lose. Outclassed for 180 minutes, essentially. It's not good enough. Terry, you're going to have to change it to the top 7 show soon. Yeah, I think we might do that soon. Change it to the top 7. That's a good shout, my friend. Spurs fans can't even celebrate Arsenal dropping points. Well, that's one of the things I was thinking about during the game. Imagine this. Arsenal have a terrible second half against Leeds and a terrible second half against Southampton, drop points today, and they still pull clear of Tottenham. They still, in the space of a week, they've still grown in front of Tottenham. And yeah, it's a bad weekend. It really is. It really, really is. Look, we're going to share the link now for you guys to come on and have your say. I thought some more of the terrace guys would be here. Maybe not. We've got Jess Black coming on with us very, very soon to have her say on this. I'm going to share the link now for you guys to call in. Let's have a little. Let's do this now. Let's do this. Let's see what Spurs fans are going to come on and have their say. I want to hear from you. We put that link out for you right now, my people. We want to get the like button smashed as well, please. Your team may not have won, but of course support the terrace in what you say. In terms of what we're doing here, what we're trying to grow to. It'd be really, really appreciative if you could. I don't like Tottenham and was very happy with the goal given. But that was a foul. People get a penalty for a barge like that, is what Alex has got to say. And listen, it's a fair opinion. At least you've explained yourself there. And Tottenham fan Dan, where are you? Came out. I told him before the game kicked off, don't call Arsenal out yet. Keep your powder dry. Keep your powder dry and wait. And oh my God. Oh my God. Gone and done himself. Gone and done himself massively. We've got Jerome that's coming on now to have his say. Spurs fan. I can see that he's angry. What you saying, Jerome?
Once again, terrible display. Horrible. I tried even to come in with the Manchester United one. I was so fuming at this disgusting display. And now again, another one, another disgusting thing. And if anyone comes and even defends that team and say anything, man, this is so annoying. Like to watch this is just, I don't know. I can't watch this anymore. It's just they can't even do single pass together. That's what annoys me. The most simple thing, putting 2 passes together. What happened to my team that was doing 24 passes and then putting a freaking goal within 24 fucking passes in the game? Are you kidding me? They can't even do 2 passes now. This is an absolute joke. This team, like I said, it's rinse and repeat every fucking season. There's nothing changed about it. And everybody's going to come. And now I'm just going to talk about all those freaking Spurs fans going, oh, we played our hardest game. We played Arsenal. We played Manchester United. We played Chelsea. So we'll be all right. Fuck off. Seriously, just shut the hell up and stop giving them freaking excuses. It's the same crap every single time, every freaking season. Oh, Terry, you're making me laugh. Thanks. Oh, Jesus. Nah, man, I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it. And everyone always put freaking Dyer in a bubble, telling everybody, oh, he's the greatest defender ever. He's this. He's going to be the better for England. Shut your mouth and don't ever put Eric Dyer in anything saying that he's a great defender. He was always crap. He is crap, and he will always remain crap. Okay, he's the guy that always fails when the pressure is on. and always happen for it. And if any Spurs fans come in and say to defend this nonsense, they have to have a good look at themselves. And if anyone was talking about being a title contender or some shit like this, you guys need to have a good look at your head, because you know what kind of team it is. It is rinse and repeat every single season. Last season, I told you we were shit. We lost 11 games, one less than Arsenal. One less. We are in the Champions League by default because Manchester United were crap and Arsenal were crap. All right. We are in a competition by default. So just put that in your head. Nothing has changed. Nothing at all. And if you're telling me that the freaking, I can't even say my words. Like we had we had a good transfer window. Are you serious? We had a terrible transfer window. We put an old man as a left wing back, and we don't even have a creative midfielder. We were supposed to get two great defenders, and we got nothing, and we still got the same crap at the back, and we got a reject from Barcelona. You're telling me this is good enough? And after that, you're all chanting and saying we are title contenders? Are you out of your freaking mind? Jesus, man. No, seriously.
I understand.
Any Spurs fans come here.
I want to ask you about Antonio. I've seen a lot of Spurs fans kind of push this notion online that leave Antonio Conte alone. This is not on Antonio Conte. How much responsibility do you put for these back-to-back defeats on your manager, his system, his style, and how he's taking your team forward?
This game, I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the players. It's just on the players. Manchester United, it's all on him. That was the same way he played against Arsenal. It's the same way he played against Manchester United. Going deep, and very deep. Every away game, are we going to be like this? Tottenham is like a puppy. At home, they'll be barking loud. But away, whimpers away. Don't do anything. Just be scared. Because Manchester United did not just batter us. They dominated us like proper domination. That was an absolute embarrassment. That was embarrassing. 2-0 score was just paper over the crack. It should have been 6-0. 6. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
I totally listen. I totally agree with you in terms of the lack of performance in those games. And of course, Antonio Conte needs time. He needs to be backed in every single which way, shape, or form. I think one thing I think is worrying is how easy it is to stop you playing. Press your front line. You create a big gap between them and the midfield, and then there's very little from you. And as soon as Newcastle started that today, you guys,
that was game over.
You guys literally had nothing else. And I'm watching it and thinking, come on, you've got some serious players in your team, and you were doing very, very little indeed. Yeah, mate, listen, I totally get the frustration. I appreciate all your support and coming on the show, my friend. And we'll chat again soon,
Thanks.
Jerome. Top man. Thank you.
Bye.
Viewers, keep smashing the like button for us. Zotta here says Spurs fans need to call out their coach as they did Jose. Jose is having a laugh within 4th place going into the Napoli game. No trophy, and Jose has his first season. Jose got a trophy, in his first season. I think Antonio Conte is looked at very differently from Spurs fans to Jose, and I'd love to understand why. We are going to get Jess back out in a moment. Orchie's with us right now. He looks like he's at a party or maybe at the game. I'm not too sure. What are you saying, mate? Unmute your line, bro.
I'm on a ferry in Istanbul, mate. I'm just on my way home. I didn't want to miss you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate, I can hear you. What was your take on the game, my friend?
Mate, it was frustrating. I mean, I understand Jerome's frustration as well, but I think he's been a bit over dramatic. I don't think it was. I mean, obviously, last couple of games, obviously, I understand the pissed off and the frustration. I do agree that players like Dyer, players like Ben Davies, as much as he's a lovely lad, these are not players that are going to take us forward. So I do appreciate. I don't have pessimism about how the transfer window was shit. I don't think it was shit because you can't call players like Basuma Richarlison, shit. They definitely added a bit of depth, but we've got to, like you were saying, there's a lot of games that have come up, like back to back, and we're clearly. I mean, let's be honest. Since Conte came in, our best player that we brought in was Kulusevski, and I think Kulusevski offers us so much going forward, creativity-wise, getting past players, creating chances for Kane, and I think we are missing him immensely at the moment. And I don't think anybody can undeny that. Anyone can deny that. I think that's our biggest, going forwards at least, to creating chances and putting goals away. And yeah, I mean, what can you do when both Richarlison and Kulusevski got injured at the same time? He hasn't got much. When both of those players have got injured, he hasn't got much to turn around to his bench and change it up. I mean, the last few games he's been playing 3-5-2. Everyone's been criticising Conte, saying why doesn't he change it up from 3-4-3 to 3-5-2? He's done that, but then I will hold him responsible, because I'm still thinking, why the fuck, excuse my language, are you putting Emerson Royale back in? There's some of his decisions are starting to frustrate me. I really don't want to see Emerson Royale in that team anymore. I don't want to, I think, why do you not give players like Jed Spence a chance, man? I mean, Matt Doherty, as much as he wasn't brilliant, I think he's better than Emerson Royale. And, blooding people like Jed Spence, why not give him a chance? Anyway, I'm going on and on.
No, you're not going on. Listen, I agree. I think, listen, injuries happen. Everyone's going to get injuries this year. You've got to be able to persevere, which is why when people say things like Arsenal won't make top four because they're going to get injuries, everybody's going to go through them. But I think when you're a world-class manager, I think when you've got a stacked squad, when you've been bought lots of players, you've got to find a way through it. Your last few substitutions with defenders coming on, you had Hill on the bench. You had Hill on the bench who could have come on and maybe done something. I know he's young, but he's an attacker. You're bringing on two defenders when you needed a goal in the dying moments of the game. That, for me, not only is a bad decision, but it sends a message to Brian Hill. I don't fancy you one little bit. So how do you expect him now when he plays to have that impetus to go out there and want to make it, want to deliver? It's poor, really. Listen, Orchie, I know you're in a busy environment, my guy. We'll speak to you again in the week, my friend, and we'll chat to you again soon. Top man. Thank you for coming on. Man's bowling through Istanbul. We're going to bring out young Daniel in a minute. We've got Jessica Black and, of course, Kaz coming on at the same time. But listen, we'll round up again, as I said. Tottenham flop at home and drop more points. I want to also throw this out there as well. Tottenham have not beaten a team in the top 6 of the league so far this season. In fact, they've not had a performance against a team in the top 6. They're yet to play Liverpool and City. Maybe not Liverpool, but can you imagine what Man City would do to them? Can you imagine? Lambs to the slaughter. Really, honestly. And by the way, I'm still waiting to hear from the people that want my channel banned. Hello? I can't hear you. Hello? Hi? Are you around? I'm sorry. It makes me laugh, really. It makes me laugh. You were angry because I told you this was going to happen. I don't have bias. I don't have agendas. I just give my opinion. We've got Jess, we've got Dan, and we've got Kaz coming on for you right about now, people. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Let's go! Welcome back to the terrace. To Daniel first, of course, as a Spurs fan, young man. I told you not to call out Arsenal on today. Give me your thoughts on the performance of 2 games running where you've been absolutely atrocious.
Man, the mentality in this team is so poor, man. Honestly, there's no character, there's no personality in any of the part of this team. We've only got 2 players in this team with personality, and both of them were injured today, and that's Højbjerg and Romero. Other than them, it's just all the other players. They don't show. Like, we're losing 2-1, and the game's about to end, and they're defending their own box. Like, they don't show that they want to win the game. I'm going to go to Eric Dyer because that guy is abysmal. I don't know how that guy has become a professional footballer. Same goes for Emerson Royale, but he was all right today. But to Eric Dyer on the first goal, Llrios comes out. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he thought he was a midfielder or something, but he comes out. He makes a mistake. Callum Wilson has a shot that it's obviously he's going to try and chip over Llrios. He's one-on-one with Llrios. Llrios is right in front of him. It's obviously he's going to chip Llrios. Why would you stop? You're about to get to the line to block it. Why would you stop to go admire Callum Wilson? I don't know if he's admiring his boots, his haircut. I don't know what it is. But he just stopped there looking at Callum Wilson, looking at him, and he didn't go to run to the ball. Davinson Sanchez was the halfway line and he got to the line before him. That, like, the lapse in concentration, that guy's decision making is of the same of a teaspoon. Like, it's disgraceful from through the whole team. Against Man United, we had one good player, and that was Hugo Lloris. Today, not a single player gets out of this game with their head up. Not a single one.
I totally get that. It was poor from you 2 games running. Jess, are you surprised to see these results now for Tottenham after so many opportunities conceded throughout the course of the season? So many times rivals and some Spurs fans, to be fair, have been moaning about the performances. And what's that word we love to use now? Is it sustainable? Are we now just seeing the fruits of that labor bear themselves?
I mean, we tried to warn you, but you didn't want to hear it. And I'm not like, let me just preface this by saying that I still think Spurs have enough to get into the top 4.
Oh, yeah.
But when everybody was getting all bent out of shape and had their panties in a twist because people were talking about Arsenal as title contenders and Spurs were sitting around, why are you not talking about us? It's because you guys were getting battered in almost every single game. Of course, you guys have world-class talent, but at some point it was going to catch up to you. It's odd because in this game, it was a lot more even. Newcastle didn't have as many shots as United and stuff like that, but the performance just wasn't good. And all the talk about injuries for other teams, now you guys are sitting around talking about injuries for you guys, have torpedoed your form, but you had this deep bench and you had all this quality. Everybody's like the same. Everybody's like the same. That's the reality. Everybody except for City is like the same. It's going to be really tight. So I just think Spurs fans, like, it's not that big of a deal because you're still in third, and you've dropped 6 points. But the reality is you're not that much better than anybody else. And that's, like, I think the biggest lesson is that you're not that much better than anybody else. And so, yeah, this reality check was definitely coming. But, yeah, it was fun to watch, not going to lie.
Totally agree. I want to ask you a question, Kaz, and obviously we're probably going to touch this on the top 6 show tomorrow as well. I don't know who's on it yet. KJ runs that. But do you think Spurs fans gaslit themselves this year? And what I mean by that is, even now I'm being called out by Spurs fans online saying I've got an obsession with talking about Tottenham. No, I literally have a job talking about the top 6 teams in the Premier League. It's what I do for a living. They were angry they weren't being, they were very, very angry that they were not being talked about in the same breath as Arsenal's and Man City's. They were angry when anybody else was praised and they were not. And now they're all seemingly angry that they're also not as good as those teams. What's going on with the Tottenham fan base and why are they so frustrated at everybody else for them not being at their best this year?
All I'm going to say is that I've already seen in some group chats, I'm in a massive Tottenham group chat at the moment, and they're all, I'm seeing it's lots of stuff about Levy. This is the manager you wanted, guys. Like, this is what you're going to get. It's going to start like this. Like, Dan, who forced you to, like, where are you from, my guy? Like, sorry?
Florida. It was an individual choice.
Who forced you?
Sorry, Kat, just say really quickly. Dan, this is mad, right? You were born in a swamp, and now you support a swamp. It's crazy, my guy. It's crazy.
And Newcastle decided to have a dump in that swamp as well, the toilet bowl. I can't say much about my own stadium. Look, I don't know who forced you to support such a club, but it's not the end. Like, I don't know why there's a trophy. Is that Champions League trophy at the bottom? Get rid of that. Like, you'll never have it. Stop, Dan. Like, you're still young. Like, you can still do this. There's other clubs. You can support anyone. Or Arsenal. Yeah, I know. Like, come on. Like, hi, Jess, by the way. Nice draw today. But I'm just gonna say, it's just Tottenham is just not it. But look, all I'm gonna say, look, Southampton away isn't for everyone, right, Jess? Look, Newcastle at home isn't for everyone, right, Dan? It's just we got an unlucky draw.
Hold on, calm
we should have beat them.
You didn't even beat Newcastle.
We should have beat them, but we should have. Everyone, your fans are starting to complain about VAR now when you've had it all season. Now we complain about VAR when we should have beat them. I don't know what to call that show in I don't know where it's going wrong. I feel like it's a bit similar to Mourinho. They all bought into the idea of defending, pressing hard when they need to, and everything. And I feel like the players are probably getting a little bit tired of all of it. And this is where the mentality breaks a little touch. And some players can take it, some players can't. Son, you know, is a year older now. He's getting to that point. Mate, he doesn't look like he wants to play for Conte, if I'm being honest. Kane's good. Like, he played all right today. You're not even playing Jed Spence. This is what you're gonna get with Conte. Chelsea fans went through it. You're gonna go through it.
This
And
is
you
not
know
on
what?
Conte.
This is not. Don't tell me this is on Levy. I do not want to hear anything about Levy because
Listen,
this guy gave you
It's like you're getting
150
the
million
Conte.
pounds.
He put
Getting
Yes.
the Conte without the
He
trophy.
gave you
Like,
everything.
he did
He
not
gave
give
you
us
a new
150
stadium.
million pounds. He did
Hey,
not
Dan,
give us 150 million
Dan,
pounds.
Dan, calm down. You support Spurs. Look, he gave you Conte. Yeah, he's about to give him 20 million pound contract to make sure he doesn't go to Juventus and other clubs. Right? Where's George, by the way? Why are you hiding today, my guy? Sean Spurs from the Spurs talk show. I thought that place was a fortress. No. Anyways, look, you got everything you wanted. Your manager decided to get the players he
No.
wanted to. By the way, that was 150 million. Bar Romero, bar the other signings as well.
But you're wrong though. But you're wrong
And
though.
apparently you've got a 200 million chest as well from January and the win and the summer as well. Another 200 million. What more do you want? Are you about to blame Levy again? He's giving you everything.
He's not giving us a single thing that we've wanted.
What do you
He
mean?
wanted a creative midfielder. He didn't get one. He wanted a center back. He didn't get one. He wanted Bastoni. He got Longley. He didn't get a single thing he wanted.
Dan,
Bastoni didn't want to go to you.
Dan, I want to put this back to you. I can take that. Then why did your fan base celebrate the 6 cents tweet like you had the greatest transfer window of all time? And this isn't a dig at you, my friend. I'm going to give you time to answer this. This is my point. I am now getting, and I can take it every day of the week, I am getting abuse left, right, and center to a point where a Spurs fan the other day said to me he was going to expose the address where my children live on the internet because he's so angry that I don't rate your club. That's how far the abuse went. Because I said your window is overrated. I got threatening to put my kid's address on the internet was the response to that. Now I hear people like yourself say we didn't get anything we wanted. Yeah, I'm an absolute because I questioned your window. So why were so many of your fans gaslight in your window if you didn't get anything you wanted, my friend? I just want to get your take on that, bro.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of fans that were gaslighting it. I thought it was a decent window. I actually didn't believe it was that great of a window because we had so many problems unsolved. Right wing back, we got Jed Spence. I think he's going to be a good player in his career. He's a great player in my opinion. But if Conte didn't want him, why did we sign him? That's the thing with Levy. He gets his hands too dirty in the football. He needs to just leave everything to Paratici and Conte. He doesn't know a thing about football. He's a decent businessman, but he's not good football owner. He's not good club owner. He's not. The thing is that this also happened before. Jose Mourinho, that guy, he wanted Ruben Diaz. He got Joe Rodon. He wanted Bruno Fernandes. He got Jedson Fernandes. This guy, Daniel Levy, needs to go. He needs to leave our football club right now because he's ruining every little bit of it. Conte is not the problem. Conte, I'd actually disagree with myself right now because I think Conte is the problem, but not for what everybody's saying. Why Conte is the problem is because he didn't go, all right, if you're not going to give me those things, I'm out, and pressure the board into backing him. That's where I think he falls.
So why is it that you've had this amazing run, by the way? You are where you are, 3 losses, a load of other wins and draws, and where you are, 23 points, could go above you with a game in hand Chelsea and that. But why wasn't you saying this when you was winning? Why now?
I mean, I was. I don't know about everybody else.
I feel like this is the issue with like not every fan base, but it's like when you're doing well, the consensus is you can only say positive things. And like it was clear that Spurs, like every other team, including City, have some issues, but you can't speak about it because you're doing well. Because you don't want rivals to hear that you're not doing well. But we got eyes. We have eyes. Like we can see everybody has issues. And so I think Spurs, like in general, I think deep down, a lot of Spurs fans knew that what they were doing wasn't sustainable. And having great players, Harry Kane in particular, papering over the cracks, like they knew that was happening, but it's just all about how like Spurs respond. They haven't responded well after the Man United game. And you're at
that's
home
right.
against Newcastle, and it's not even just the result, it's the performance.
And this
That
is
is
sorry.
crazy.
And this is the thing for me. So when listen, people, the whole "I'm scared of Chelsea, scared of Arsenal" thing, it's from a rival perspective. I mean it. Like, I'm scared of what Chelsea might build. I think Arsenal are turning into a very good team. And as a rival, that scares me because when they're mid, when they're average, when they're inconsistent, they're not a worry. Even though we weren't good, it was like, well, we ain't got to worry about Chelsea or Arsenal or Tottenham or whoever else is crap or the same as us. We just got to worry about the one or two teams ahead of us. The more teams that are ahead of us, the more worried I am. The reason I've never said that I'm worried about Tottenham is I have no faith that your club, from a mentality point of view, right through to the way you'll invest in your team, will ever become good enough consistently. And I'll give you an example. This has been the worst period of Man United's history in 130 odd years, outside of genuine tragedy, right? Off the pitch. Definitely the worst time in my lifetime. And in that period, we've won 3 more trophies than Tottenham and finished above you about the same amount of times you finished above us. And this is probably your golden period post Bill Nicholson in terms of league performances. And this is not a dig at Tottenham, but it's a case of that's why I'm not worried. Even with Antonio Conte, who's a world-class manager, I don't believe, and you agree with me, I think, Dan, I don't believe your owners and Daniel Levy will give him what he wants enough to keep him. Therefore, I'm not scared. And I look at Harry Kane as an example here. Every Tottenham fan thinks I hate Tottenham because I say Harry Kane should leave. It isn't that. It's because Harry Kane is never going to become a football legend. He'll be a Tottenham legend if he stays. I want Harry Kane, because of his ability and how brilliant he is, to be a legend of the game. So he needs to go to a football club that's going to do what you've just told me your owners won't do, and that's build a title-winning squad. And it's not a dig at Tottenham, the club. It's a dig at the way your club is run. And when you actually scrape the surface and remove the fact I'm a Man United fan, I think Spurs fans agree with me. But like most things in life, we don't like hearing like outsiders tell us the truth. You know, you get it. I'm a parent, right? I'm very lucky. Pray, and hope they say, well, my kids are brilliant. But if anybody says, even if someone says, I don't know, I'm trying to make, your son talks too much. Oh, no, he does. He's like his dad. He's very verbose. But if someone else tells me that I don't respect enough, I'm like, what are you speaking about my kid for? That's how I'm like that with my football club. I don't like people outside of Man United slagging Man United off. It annoys me. So I do get it. But I am speaking the truth. Antonio Conte is world class. Son is world class. Kane is world class. You've got brilliant players throughout. But your club is never going to achieve greatness. It's never going to become a giant club, in my opinion, until you're run better. Every well-run football club with the money that Tottenham have in the history of football has achieved something brilliant in terms of trophies. If they're not well-run, it never happens. And people can call me out all they want. They can threaten to put my address on the internet. Go for it. That doesn't change what I'm saying. And by the way, in case you are watching, you are never silencing me, bruv. Ever. Ever. Ever.
And let me get this across as well, Daniel. Like this, you can't come off lightly here. Like you seem quite reasonable and young, but that's you gotta take it. Like
I'll take it. I'll take
like
it.
Pochettino's available as well. You know, that's another £50 million, Joe. That's a £14 million you can get off and then go get somebody else for £5 million. I mean, look, when you're letting Almiron score against you, you might as well fold as a club. Like he's been scoring great goals, but as a top club, how are you letting Almiron dunk on you? That is embarrassing. Honestly, Dan, look. I like your background, what you got going on there and everything, but it stinks. It's a bit too plain. It's time to upgrade. Like there's some good managers, upcoming managers in the league ready to take the league by storm. Graham Potter, Ten Hag, Arteta. Just Conte might not be it. The football, you need to play sustainable football. I think Jess, I think you actually said this ages ago on the terrace as it goes about the sustainable football in Tottenham and that you can't see it going too far because it's just not it.
It's when you have such fine margins in your games, like you are basically banking on when Son or Kane get the 1-2 chances that they get, they have to put them away. So if they're out of form, which Son is out of form, that's another part, is he scored that hat trick against Leicester and everybody thought he was back. He's stinky this season. He just is stinky. Like it just is what it is. And so when you play this way, you make it so that the odds are against you if your players are not playing at 100%. And you guys have gotten injuries to Kulusevski and Richarlison, so you have no margin for error. And when you play up against teams like Newcastle, no fear. Manchester United, no fear. They just come in and take your lunch money. And I just think that that's what it looked
I
like.
was just gonna say that as well. I was like, Dad, I can have your lunch money if you want. Like, I can take it, and I can, not in a bullying version. I don't condone it, but Spurs are gonna get bullied from coming from. I think from now, I changed my whole aspect on Tottenham, and I get it, man. You're young. I don't really want to see you upset because it's just, it is what it is. But it comes with the territory. Get rid of that background. Get rid of that hat. It's a good time
Daniel,
to change.
you're young enough to change. You're young enough to change.
No.
I
I'm
can
Tottenham till I
change.
die. I'm
It's
Tottenham
like-
till I die.
Thank you,
I'm Tottenham
Terry.
till-
It's like
I'm Tottenham
Rocky.
till
You
I
remember the last scene of Rocky 4? If I can change and you can change, everybody can change. That's what you can do. That's what you could do if you really
No.
wanted
Do what
to.
everyone else does. Go
You're
support
a
Man
Rocky
City
head,
because
man.
that's the new glory hunting.
My
club. I
father
get it.
supports Man City. My father supports Man
Does
City.
In
Go do
fairness,
it, man.
me and you were the same though, Dan. Like I always say my dad, right? My dad, I love my dad. A lot of people think I've got Tottenham issues because I've got daddy issues. Me and my dad are good. Like there's no issues. But my dad is an idiot because my dad's such a liberal man in life. That's why I'm very fortunate to be brought up the way that I was in terms of how I look at society, because my dad allowed me and my brothers to make choices. Literally, if tomorrow me and my 4 brothers went home and said we're all converting and changing religions to, one's becoming Jewish, one's becoming a Muslim, the other one's an atheist, the other one's a Buddhist, and the other one is going to become a Scientologist, my dad would say, "Are you happy?" We'd say yes. He'd go for it then, son. But my dad was so liberal. This fall, let us pick our own football teams. Like my kids had no choice. All 3 of my children were born and put in the same baby grow when they were born. It's an Eric Cantona baby grow. First thing,
I'm gonna do the same.
straight into it, right? So I get that. I don't have any issue with Tottenham, but yeah, your dad not making you support Man City. That's a big L, bro.
I've got a beautiful club for you. I got a better one. I'll do one over. One that's got a great project on. They look like they're gonna be up and coming. Go support Newcastle. Like that would be a great project.
Yeah.
For up
I'm
and
not.
coming.
I'm not.
Trophies. They're going to win the Premier League one day probably. They're going to be in Europe. It's like it's there. They just beat your team. It's like, what?
I will say this to you though, Dan. I know you get a little bit of stick today, and everything else, but at least you, of all the Tottenham fans on the terrace, and you are part of the terrace, Dan, has shown up. The only reason we won't add you to the group chats is an age thing, just because can't do it. Until you're 18, then we'll add you to the group chat.
Because they're filthy, Dan.
No, they're not. No,
I'm in a lot of group chats like that one.
No, yeah,
Allegedly.
And to be fairness, yeah, I'm just as an individual, I ain't taking no risks about nothing. Do you know what I mean? So when you're 18, you can be in the group chat 110%, bro. But listen, at least you showed up today. At least you showed up, and the rest. I'm out today. I'm out. If you're in England right now, no one's out. The weather is so bad in England right now. No one's out. No one's doing anything. You're just refusing to call in. I've got some super chats here I want to go to, though. First one says, Conte and Allegri aren't elite managers. Park the bus. No control anymore with no quality disparity. Exactly why their record in Europe is poor. It's a good take. Jerome here says, Terry, you keep saying our golden period, but Poch was not backed for 565 days. Dan is right. Daniel Levy and Enoch are cancer to our club. I will say this. When I say your golden era, I just mean the best league performances and league finishes you've had, at least in my lifetime. That's what I mean by golden era. Don't blame Levy. Conte threatened to leave last year if signings weren't brought in. Levy hired TD and technical director, and spent loads of money in the summer. It's Conte to blame. Celso would have been a good bench player. What do you make of that, Dan?
I'm sorry. How much money did he spend in the summer? I remember the rankings, and there was loads of clubs that spent more than us. And Lo Celso, I don't know. I think he's a good player, but he's not fit for the Premier League. I think he's more of a player that will fit La Liga. But another thing I wanted to say on this, now that he brings up the topic of Argentinian players, is Romero. I love the guy to bits, but he's down tooling for the World Cup. He's actually down tooling for the World Cup. And this is what a lot of Argentinians do. Like Lo Celso at the moment, he's down tooling for Villarreal right now. I don't know if that's something that the managers tell him, oh, fake an injury right before the World Cup. I don't know. I'm not saying that, but I want this guy to have more dedication towards his club, because it's very disappointing. But I love Romero. I love Romero to absolute bits, but that's really, really strange. And Yeah. By the way, I'm not changing clubs. I'm not
That-
changing.
yeah,
clubs.
yeah.
What?
We
Okay,
know
so
you're not.
why do you think that then? Because is it just because Lo Celso
'Cause it's-
and
yeah.
Romero are doing it, but Lisandro Martinez playing out his skin?
Oh,
So
thank
is
you,
that like
Jess.
a
Thank you.
yeah.
That,
I like
that's a
that.
good point. But the thing is that why I'm thinking this is because the last 15 international breaks, Romero always gets an injury right before the international break. It's happened loads and loads of times.
You spent, by the way, it says here 152.91 million this summer.
Is that including add-ons?
That's no.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I remember we're like 11th in Europe for the most spent. Not 11th, like 21st or something. We're low in the rankings. Like we didn't even. And the thing is that I rather us spend more money on one really good player than spend the same amount of money on 5 average players. That's
But
something
what
that.
about what about? Look, I hate to say it. What about Arsenal's kind of policy in the last few seasons? They spent 100 million here, 100 million there. Like they haven't spent mad money, you could say, but they built up across the last few summer transfer windows. Like maybe you just got to give the man some time to do what he needs to do. He's gonna be rubbish, but I don't know. I'm not joking. I'm looking at my group chat right now, and there's some people doubting Conte as we speak, and not the players. The same rubbish that you've had for quite a few years, and.
But isn't it a
But
race
that's a
against
problem.
time though? Like
I wouldn't
that's the whole
say
thing about
so.
it. You
'Cause you know-
you can't wait because it's a race against time with Harry Kane, and Conte is not a long termer.
Yeah, but
So,
that whole
like,
term, that whole term right there, Conte's not a long termer. Look at all the times why he's been forced to leave his club. Inter, he didn't leave because he was losing games. He lost because the board didn't back him. That's why if Conte leaves, it's going to be mainly on Daniel Levy and Enoch. That's going to be the main reason why he would leave.
And I don't disagree with you on that. I actually don't. I think Antonio Conte will do a brilliant job any club he's at. If he's 100, same as Jose, maybe even now, give Jose everything he wants at every moment of every day, and you'll get results. As soon as he stops getting what he wants, he leaves. And that's why I don't trust your board and your owners, the same as you don't to do it. Therefore, that's exactly why I think you should watch. Harry Kane should leave, because I don't think you're going to consistently back your manager to keep him. And who you're going to bring in up? No manager you're bringing in after Conte is going to be as good. And Harry Kane's too old, in my opinion, to re-sign. And if Man United keep improving like they're improving, if Chelsea get to a point, he's got to force himself into one of those clubs next year, because he's got more chance of winning, more chance of greatness there than he does at Tottenham. And that isn't a dig. That's a cold, for me, it's just a cold, hard fact. And I feel sorry for Spurs fans, because I feel like you've been lied to. I feel like some of your fans are kind of doing this weird thing that a lot of fan bases do, where it's you dare say anything bad about this club, will come for you. You have to toe the party line, as will come for you. It's a madness to me. Like, you've got some very good players. You've got a world-class manager. You've got to put pressure on your club to deliver. And the irony in it is that's what elite clubs do. And sometimes I still feel like some Spurs fans liked it when they were the bridesmaid. They liked it when they were just celebrated for playing nice football, and it didn't matter whether they won or they didn't. But if you want to be a giant club, you have to take the pressures. And I'm getting people call me out now to literally sit there. Why are you even talking about Tottenham? Bro, if you become a big club, you get spoken about. You've got a few Newcastle fans I know, when they got taken over by the Saudis, were like, why is everyone talking about us? Because you're now a threat. You're now relevant, and people talk about you. You've got to learn to accept it. Otherwise, you're never going to fit in this space. It's the way it works for me. Terry, I completely agree with you. Spurs fans are deluded. I don't think Spurs fans are deluded. Some are, not all of them. Some of them are weird. But then
Most of them are.
every fan bases have every fan base has a percentage of fans that are proper weird. The irony is, these weird fans from each fan base, they're all friends with each other as well. And it must be like a little club, a little weirdo club, where they all get together and meet.
There's 40 of them in my group chat. I'm the only United fan, actually the only man in there that supports a different club. It's mental. I love it. Every week there's some drama, man.
Always. Let's go to some more of these super chats. Don't blame. Sorry, I already had that one there. No Isco. Isco. No Isak. No St. Maximin. Newcastle United still slapped you. And that's. I mean, I didn't even think about that earlier when people were talking about that Spurs' injuries. 2 of their best attackers were missing as well. And that's the thing about the injury situation. We never look at the other team. Most clubs have got injuries at a certain point, or players missing, or we didn't quite get what we want in the transfer window. That's just fairly normal. And I think that's why I don't really like it as an excuse, but good point. Here, why is Patrick hiding? Patrick, where are you? Patrick, we want to hear from you. I know you're watching, Patrick. I bet Patrick is sitting there right now in a pair of pants, no other clothes on, eating ice cream, crying. That's what,
No, he has his
doing.
hoodie on.
I was doing
That's
that at
what he has. He
halftime.
has a little hoodie on. His lost hoodie.
Eating that ice cream. That's what he's doing. Tottenham ruining Chelsea managers. Is it going to be Tuchel next? Is what Todd Miller has got to say here. But yeah, look, it was an interesting weekend. Lots to do. If I was Kane, I would have gone to Liverpool in the summer. I mean, he'd be better than Nunes. I mean, even today though, Harry Kane still your best player. Scored brilliant stuff on the ball.
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for him. I really feel sorry for him. It's like, who's like the worst car manufacturer in F1? Like, they're never going to win it. Who's bad? Anyone know? Anyone watch F1?
I don't watch F1.
Kaz? Oh, it don't work then. I thought someone might know. It's like putting the best It's like Lewis Hamilton driving for Skoda. I don't know if they're like, do you know what I mean? You need to put him in the best car, and that's what that man needs. Lots of Levy outs in the comment section here from Spurs fans. Some Conte outs as well. Some Conte outs I'm seeing, which is an interesting take.
They're saying it's trending, which I love.
It's trending.
Mate, Conte out was trending since Pochettino got sacked. That's just the mentality that this fan base has.
I get that. I want to
They
ask.
live in the past.
I want to ask you another question, Dan. Was this a foul on Hugo Lloris?
No, it's not a foul. It's 50-50, man. They just bumped into each other. It's not a foul. The problem with this goal was obviously Lloris's decision. If you're gonna come out, then come out full and just beam the ball to the other side of the pitch. But he just stopped and tried to control it with his chest and try to be cheeky. That's the problem with the goal. It was never a foul. On the refereeing, there was also a penalty that I think Newcastle should have had in the first half. But then near the end of the game, Tottenham should have had another penalty. So I think because I think that if the ball's coming in and there's like a chance, right? So if a cross is coming in and there's people in the box ready to hit into the back of the net and somebody blocks the ball with their arm, for me that should be a penalty. And it happened twice for once for both team each. So the refereeing it wasn't too bad, but there was 3 questionable decisions.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're not trying to blame the refs. I don't think any Tottenham fans are really blaming the refs.
No.
What
I
about
think they
Arsenal as
know.
well? Like, you're not blaming the rest today, are you? Like, you're not one of those fans, I don't think. Like,
No,
today
I
as
mean,
well.
2 things can be true. The ref was
Yeah.
not great, but we didn't deserve to get all 3 points. Like,
I think that
nothing to
Saka
blame
one
it
was harsh,
on.
though. I'll be honest. That Saka thing was harsh.
Yeah, it was harsh, but I mean, things happen. Like it goes in roundabouts all the time. Like sometimes you get it going on your side, sometimes you don't. Today it wasn't our day, but we did not deserve all 3 points. But when everybody else drops points except for City, it makes it so much better. So I'm a happy girl. I can't lie.
I've had there's a really funny comment here, right? There's a few people calling me out for my opinions on Tottenham. Someone says here, I'm unsure why any fan would watch an opposing fan's like channel or listen to their opinion. This is how gaslighting and these kind of like weird takes create. If you sit in an echo chamber and just listen to this is what happens with a lot of standalone fan channels that cover one team, is they don't even allow outside Tottenham opinion. So it's like, if you don't toe the party line within reason, you're also outed. Over a period of time, you create an echo chamber where everyone thinks and feels the same. Then when you hear the mainstream or a big group of people disagree with you, that cognitive dissonance sends you into a frenzy, which is probably why people are threatening me with mad stuff in the last few weeks. It's like, no, that isn't the case. Rival chat is so key, and almost kind of like what's the word I like to use? It's that word where something is like calms you down, makes you feel better at the end of it. Cathartic. It's quite cathartic to listen to other people's views outside of your own world. And echo chambers are a dangerous place in every walk of life, including football. Did you see, what does it say?
Lianco, one of the players.
Punch Gabriel
Southampton.
Jesus. Did Southampton player punch him?
Yeah, I think he did. He kind of basically punched his back. I mean, it was soft, but it was still like he did throw something at the guy. Not once, but twice. So it's like, maybe he should have got sent off, if I'm being honest. It's like, you can't react that way.
It was more the build up to everything. It's like they don't call the early stuff, and then so anything you're like, that's it. Jesus was getting fouled by whatever his name is, I thought. But the punching in the back, like that's just not something I see as a red card. You know what I mean? The ref was not good, but it just is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
It
I
is
didn't
what it
see it.
is.
I'll have to watch it. I'll have to watch it a little bit later. But listen, people, I appreciate everyone that has tuned in, everyone who's hit the like button, subscribed, followed, all our super chatters as well. You're absolutely brilliant. Dan, thank you for coming on. At least you and Jerome and Orchi, the only ones to face the music today. The rest have turned into cakes and scone. It's a terrible joke, but I love a bad joke. Jess and Kaz, thanks for jumping on. Tomorrow we're back. Fan channel review is going to be hot tomorrow. I can't wait to record it. If there's any clips you guys have seen, DM them to me. Like, can't watch everything. So send me clips and people's videos that are brilliant today. We'll feature that on Fan Channel Review tomorrow as well. 6 p.m. tomorrow, the top 6 show is back. I'm sure it's going to be Litty Van Litty tomorrow after this weekend's football. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.